Okay, go ahead.
Short two-part question. One is anyone actually implementing the Technodemocracy stuff? And two, if I get my team to implement it, will you take a look?
So what I want to do is I want to publish a spec and have people just work on it. That's kind of what I did here, right? And then tweet at me when you've got something working, and I will look at videos. Absolutely, I'll look at videos. Like a good demo can communicate in a GIF that it's working. So go, you go implement. All right, so I'll give the mic to someone else.
Have you heard of the tech forum that's happening in Buenos Aires, October 19th?
No.
President Milei is headlining, and
great.
we'd love for you to speak, even remotely.
Sure. Now, I'm happy to do that, but my only request is if you've got a speaking invite or something like that, I'm happy to entertain it. Just DM me with it on Twitter, and I will look at it. I do look at those. So yes on this one, but please ask me other questions and so on, if that's all right, just topic questions. And after they throw us out, I'll go out there and I'll just answer more questions until time's going. Keep going.
I have one quick question. Why are we focusing on Earth? What we are building here could be the infrastructure for space cities.
So I actually talked about this. There's four, he asked why focus on Earth, what about space? So if you ask where the population of space is, it's like 10 people on the International Space Station. If you ask what the population of the sea is, there's on the order of 100,000 to 1 million who are on cruise ships or other kinds of things on the waters at any time, maybe a few million if you include every captain or whatever. If you ask what the population of the land is, it's 8 billion people, but in between is the population of the internet. So land, internet, sea, space you can think of those as 4 possible areas for a frontier, and space just isn't built out, it's not developed. I mean, Elon is amazing, but in between, we can just do islands and deserted areas here, okay? Oh boy. All right, go ahead.
I'm here.
Who's got the mic? Okay, he's got the mic.
So we talk a lot
about
about
a few more mics if
censorship resistance due to a network state and having our own control. Obviously, cryptocurrency is the right way to go, right? But we talk a lot about USDC, especially on Sol, but that does not have that resistance. So if somebody
so he asks, what about censorship resistance? And I think it's like gears on a bicycle. Okay, so just like you've got top gear for high hills and so on. Bitcoin is meant to resist governments. And so that's why it has low complexity, and it's just literally hold a Bitcoin. It doesn't need lots of ops per second. You buy it, you hold it for 10 years, right? Then Ethereum, so Bitcoin is just completely immutable. That's what it's meant to be. Now, then Ethereum is meant to be, I think, infrequently mutable. I think it's a fair way of putting it. It's like your corporate charter. You don't want to edit it every day, but you want to be able to edit it at times, right? And then you go one more step down, gears on the bicycle, Solana, you can just blast transactions on chain. And, everyone will argue with me if I say, the security is like somewhat less, or the, uptime is somewhat less. But you know what? For transactions underneath a certain amount, it maybe just doesn't even matter. The loss doesn't matter. So you hold on Bitcoin, you have your corporate charters or something like that on Ethereum, and you transact on Solana, and that's completely reasonable. That's one possible approach. There's many others.
Hey, and we're building another nation. We're looking at creating embassies in cities that already work, like Singapore, Dubai, with digital communities to really connect them. Vitalik mentioned that going from online community to full-on society is too difficult, so he's envisioning pop-up villages. Our vision is to have permanent embassies in cities where we already like to live. Do you see that going against the network state, or do you believe it's a right step on the way?
Yeah, embassies are great. I mean, I think there's think about crypto and how Bitcoin put a poll out over here, but I do want to give some folks over here the mic and so on. So we'll just make it so I'll take it after. 5. So to answer your question, TLDR, there's going to be many intermediate forms. The network state is meant to put a vision out there, and there's lots of interpolations of that. I'm going to do a network city or so on. That's fine. That's good, and all to the good. Go ahead, sir.
What's the business model of the network school? Like, how do you financially support it? And does it include paid placement? And then the other thing, why do you wear a suit?
Why do I wear a suit?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Just respect for the occasion, I guess. We do need internet first clothing, whatever that is. I don't know what that is yet. And I think you asked, what's the business model? It's very simple. It's just basically pay rent, right? That's the V1. V2 is if legal things permit, I do want to set up like a crypto REIT where, so just to explain this for a second. In San Francisco, they've got the NIMBY versus YIMBY problem, right? Where you have, and this is many places around the world, somebody owns a house and their interests are disaligned with the newcomer. The person who owns the house wants rents to go up. The newcomer wants rents to go down, and then they fight politically all the time, right? Now, how do you solve that? Well, if you actually disallow owning a house directly, instead you own shares in a REIT, and you separate investment from use, okay? Now you're incentivized to actually grow the community in a way that increases the value of the REIT. Let's say the REIT owns an island, and you lease, basically, it's like being an investor in Google versus what you're paying for Google services. You separate out those two things. So how much you're investing in Google stock is distinct from how much you're paying them as a customer for their services. By separating those two things out, you now have something where people can invest in the REIT, people can hold shares in the REIT, but they separate that out from their land value. And this is how I think we're going to do crypto real estate with a zillion legal details to work out. It's just a theory right now. Go ahead.
In a techno-democracy, how do you see the role of leadership evolve, given anyone could be a president? What leadership styles will emerge?
I think we're going to see an explosion of new talent. I mean, one of the things that's amazing about technology is, the Calendly CEO is of Nigerian descent, and so many tech founders are immigrants. But of course, there's lots of amazing people who aren't, and people who are born poor in the Midwest or what have you. Technology, Mark Anderson, mentor and friend of mine, was born to absolutely nothing in the Midwest. There was no Anderson clan, no Anderson. So the internet gave him that opportunity and that leg up. And so really what it's going to be is we're going to find the Lee Kuan Yew of Latin America. Well, okay, Bukele is already the Lee Kuan Yew of Latin America. Fine. The Lee Kuan Yew of Liberia or something like that, right? Will step up. That's what I think will happen. Hopefully. Yep. Okay.
Unfortunately, we need to.
Okay. So we have to walk out. We'll need some way of structuring things. You tell me how far we can go. I might have to leave you guys now, but you can DM me on Twitter, and I will try to get through as many responses as I can. So message me, and thank you all for coming, and thank you for helping to build a network state. Thanks.